Hi, I'm Yolanda Jiggetts. I'm the Executive Director of Park Heights Renaissance. Park Heights Renaissance is a nonprofit organization really tasked with supporting the community and stakeholders through the Park Heights Master Plan. We work with the residents and stakeholders in the community to really map the road for rebuilding, restructuring Park Heights to be a vibrant and healthy community. At Park Heights Renaissance, we provide services and programs. We have an education department with 5 school coordinators who are assigned and work hand in hand with the 5 schools in the Park Heights area. We also have a Safe Streets program where our staff is dedicated, one of 10 sites across the city, really focused on high-risk target population. And their goal is pretty complex, but they are residents who typically live in the neighborhood, and they help support the efforts to reduce the incidence of shootings and homicides, as well as provide resources and facilitate new opportunities for those participants in that program. We also have a housing and development division where we're focused on everything in between to ensure that residents have affordable housing opportunities, that we are working with the city and stakeholders to really provide a community that's thriving with housing opportunities, job opportunities, and economic opportunities. Northwest Baltimore, to me, has always been home. It's an area of Maryland that I consider to be one of the best areas in Maryland. It's filled with greenery, great people, lots of assets, and it's, as long as I can remember, has been a place of vibrancy despite the challenges that we see every day. Northwest Baltimore, for me, is primarily, I'm focused on the Park Heights area and the surrounding areas and bringing us all together and revitalizing. But some of the great things that I would say about Northwest Baltimore, one, first and foremost, is conveniently located to everything. It's a convenient outlet for opportunities to gather. We have great parks surrounding the Northwest Baltimore Partnership, lots of restaurants and food opportunities. But some of the challenges are, it's an area that is ridden with high incidence of crime, some poverty, and there's lots of opportunities for improvement in this area, particularly around job opportunities, training, addressing social economical issues. But I think now is a ripe opportunity to really partner with many of the stakeholders in the Northwest region to really address some of those issues and really move the needle on overcoming many of those challenges. Some of my fondest memories growing up in Park Heights, I was born and raised in Park Heights, starting with my birthplace was at Sinai Hospital, and quickly moved around in the Northwest region. But some of my fondest memories are really, I lived and died in the libraries here in Park Heights, which today we don't have a library, but that was one of the places where I felt safe, really opportunities to explore and imagine beyond the neighborhood. But one of the other places that was a staple in my childhood in Park Heights was Druid Hill Park. We had lots of fond memories in that park, lots of family gatherings. And just generally, Park Heights to me back then was a neighborhood of neighborhoods as it is today, but people gathered. Everyone looked out for one another. Everyone knew one another, including other people's parents who knew you. So it kind of kept us a little on track because you knew that everyone was always paying attention. So it was a place that I remember as being family oriented. The history of Park Heights in the Northwest area is so broad for me. I was born here in the 70s, but know much of the history from my work in Baltimore City. I know that Park Heights was once a vibrant economic engine with, movie theater, grocery store, transit running up and down the Park Heights corridor. And that is one of the things I'm looking forward to in this role as executive director, to bring that economic engine back to Park Heights, where we have those community assets that are often in other neighborhoods, great grocery stores, places that you can have sit-down dinner with your family and friends, and other retail and commercial opportunities, along with new housing opportunities. I think I've been fortunate to have had a diverse background. So growing up, I can't say that I was exposed to the cultural differences or divide in Park Heights. We just knew that there was kind of this imaginary divide of the Jewish and the Black community. But I think, I left the neighborhood to go to school after middle school at Dr. Martin Luther King Elementary, to go to Roland Park Charter School. So I was quickly exposed to the diversity. So for me, I understand the history, I understand the dynamics, but I also see an opportunity that's just who I am. I see the opportunity to grow from the diversity in the community, but there's some challenges that we all know exist. And, frankly, today in my role, part of what we want to see is that one Park Heights, that imaginary division of Northern Parkway, as many say, divides the Jewish and the African American culture, to vanish, and really understand that we are similar in many ways. We are different in a lot of ways, but together we can come together and make those cultural differences something that actually is very special about Park Heights. I think the way to begin to bring those two cultures together and really look at it from a lens of unity, some of the things that we're doing now in partnership with some of the stakeholders in Park Heights. I'm a member of the Northwest Baltimore Partnership, and one of the initiatives that we're all working towards is this One Park Heights initiative, where we're really trying to bring people together to talk about those differences and be frank about some of the challenges, some of the biases, and really understanding those cultural differences so that we can pave the way forward. We all have to get to that space because there is no dividing wall. So if crime happens below Park Heights, it's going to spill into Upper Park Heights. The road ahead is definitely, I think, where we are now is just addressing the issues, because you can't begin to solve problems unless you are honest about some of that past, and you have to be open to understanding and forgiving in order to move forward. I think one of the first things that we could do together to show impact that we all care about is keeping the community clean. An environment that is visually pleasing can do wonders for your mind towards progress. So one of the, we have a long list of priorities at Park Heights Renaissance and for the Park Heights community in general, but that is something that you can feel, you can see, and it has immediate impact. So, really looking forward to working with the community and stakeholders to really come up with a sustainable strategy, not just a one-day cleanup, but a strategy that will, embody ownership of those projects in an effort to really keep the community clean and look at it from a wellness perspective. If your community is clean, it's the first step to really building community. One thing I would say is a major step forward is getting the youth involved. They are the foundation of the future for Park Heights. We have a lot of seniors who have been here for many years, who most of our community leaders are seniors, and they know the history, they are dedicated, but we often do not see youth at the table. And so we have to be creative as the adults and some of the seniors in getting them interested in a way that they can understand. And so, there are many great organizations in Park Heights really working with the youth. I think it takes us all coming together, figuring out how to keep their attention. As we know, the social media and technology divide, often keeps our younger people in a different space. But we have to be creative using the tools that engage them to get them involved in understanding they can have an impact in their community as well. So as a native of Park Heights, I have a vision that probably goes beyond what others may even imagine. I see Park Heights really with so many opportunities for advancement, for opportunities, but one of the things that I personally would like to see in Park Heights is really going back to that economic engine. I want to see Park Heights being an arts and cultural district. That is one of my personal desires for Park Heights. I think we already have a large inventory of cultural restaurants in Park Heights, and we have the Pimlico race course coming online. And what would it look like for that to be a district where we have restaurants and clubs and, places for people to gather with their family? So I'm looking forward to, really having those basic community assets that you see in neighborhoods that are thriving. Libraries, restaurants, variety of grocery stores, places that we can shop, and places that we can fellowship together.